Perfection almost looks easy. But it isn't. Here's to those who go the distance.
Good morning, Heidi Foy with Bullfrog Creatives. Welcome to the CINCH CNFR morning show. Man, so listen, it's finally Saturday. If you guys have watched any of my live streams, I was at the softball tournament Wednesday and just did a little bit of live, and I wished everybody a happy Saturday on Wednesday.
It's one of those weeks.
It is one of those weeks. It's so long. It's one of those things where you're having so much fun and there's so much rodeo and all the great things that you love, and you're exhausted. So like all the best things in 1 week is perfect. You guys, we have a special guest today, Darcy Robertson with Platinum Performance. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss all the info that she has to share. All right, we are back. Heidi Foy again with CNFR Mornings, brought to you by CINCH Jeans. And we have Darcy Robertson with Platinum Performance. So Platinum Performance is a new partnership with the NIRA and the CNFR. So we're super excited to have her on to learn about what Platinum Performance brings to the game, brings to the rodeo game, and brings to the equine industry. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about that?
Certainly. Well, we are certainly excited about this new partnership, and Platinum Performance is an elite level nutritional support formula, and we actually make products for both professional equine and human athletes. And so it's something that is very unique in the quality that we bring to the table. Every athlete, whether you have 4 legs or 2 legs, is really going to benefit from your daily nutritional support. What you eat is what you are. I'm sure everybody's heard that, but it really it's cliche, but it's true.
Yes.
And especially when you're at this level of competition, when you're at the college finals, really asking a lot of your own body as well as your animal athlete's body, it pays to hedge your bets and provide that nutritional support. And that's what Platinum is. So.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, one of the interesting parts of the industry, and you can speak to this too, because you've been in competitions across the nation, but one of the interesting parts is that I feel like more and more in the industry, this part is so much more important. I mean, we've come a long ways, and we've talked about over the week in our own student athlete health and professional rodeo, cowboys taking better care of themselves physically, but also we've seen that across the board for our horses.
Very true.
So, I remember when I qualified for the barrels, I ended up drawing my 3rd round on Tuesday night. So I had 2 runs on Tuesday, which, it's a big animal. He should be able to handle that, but there's a lot of energy burst that goes into that 14, 15 second run.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're good, maybe 13, but I mean, let's be honest, 14-second run here, that if he has to do that twice in one day, he just may not have the gas to get there.
Exactly. And when you're looking at, tenths of a second, this is a sprint, not a marathon. So you don't have a lot of wiggle room, and anything that you can do to give yourself that edge really makes all the difference. But what you just mentioned earlier is a huge issue too. Longevity of career, right?
Yes.
We used to think of rodeo as just being a really young man or young woman's sport, but my father-in-law, for example, is 66 and he still competes, and he loves it, and he's healthy because he's taken care of himself. And so really the longevity of your animal athlete's career lifespan can go far into the 20s. I know so many pro rodeo horses on the road that are what we would consider senior horses, top of their game. And so really your athletic career.
The interesting part about horses too is that I think like the prime age, like you said, it's kind of changing, but I think that original prime age is somewhere between like 8 and 14.
Right.
And then like 14, 15, then it's old. So, like you said, if we can kind of increase that longevity and keep those horses going and keep them feeling good and keep them loving their jobs,
Exactly.
then you're going to keep on winning. So I guess let's talk about the specific products that Platinum Performance brings and what we can use as competitors.
Absolutely. So Platinum was founded back in 1996 by a renowned veterinarian, Dr. Doug Herthel, a really special guy who has worked on the fronts of regenerative medicine, brought equine stem cell into veterinary medical practice, amazing surgeon, but just very passionate about what he did on a daily basis. He wanted to improve horses' quality of lives and really give them the best tools for success, whether you're recovering from a surgery or an injury, or just going down the road to bring the best game into the arena. And so he knew that your daily nutritional foundation plays a key role in that success. And so what we practice is cellular nutrition. We're feeding all of the cells in the body. And so that's the great thing about when you're using a nutritional intervention, you're affecting everything, whether it's your hoof, your skin, your coat, but also your performance and your cell's ability to metabolize. So that is big when it comes to these performance demands that are we're seeing of both people and their horses in the arena.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we're seeing a lot more products for our two-legged athletes, as you said.
Absolutely.
That kind of speak to that oxidative stress that
you're speaking my language.
That is just like, it's normal. It's the occurrence. It's
right?
It's the aging process.
It is.
Take it or, love it or hate it. We have our own issues with the aging process. But those types of things can slow us down as we age, the creaks and the things in the morning that make it a little harder to get up,
right?
Which clearly I'm not dealing with. Not right now. But those are the types of things that we can also work on in our animal friends.
This is true. Yep. So the great thing about learning about nutrition is it does apply to yourself as well as your horse, but very simple. It doesn't have to be crazy and complicated. I love that about Platinum. It's very straightforward. We have 3 foundation formulas: our Platinum Performance Equine, our Platinum Performance CJ, which stands for complete joint, and you mentioned creaks. That's a big issue when you're asking a lot of a performance athlete. Certainly, there's some wear and tear on the joints, and pays to support your joint health preemptively. And then we also have our latest foundation formula is the Platinum GI, which we know there's a lot of stress, right? Physical and mental stress that goes on when you're going down the road. And especially with horses, the GI tract is so vulnerable. They're so strong, but that is really their weakest spot. And so the Platinum GI supports that total horse health, total systemic inflammation, but really it's focusing on also adding a GI component.
So I mean, I think the GI component speaks to me a lot because a lot of people that have followed me on the Bullfrog Creatives platform know that the name Bullfrog Creatives came from my horse that I competed off in college, and he actually passed away. He colicked twice. He was a sand eater. He was just he was a big guy. But so the GI piece comes into play with digestion and when you're on the road and maybe there's not a safe rubber mat to keep them from picking that sand up. Those types of things can help them to keep on going.
Absolutely. We know that there's only so many things you can control, especially when you're traveling. Your hay quality could change, your feed might change, which is very disruptive to a horse. Horses pretty much eat the same diet. We'll go out for Mexican one night and Chinese the next, but our horses, they're pretty steadfast in what they put in their mouths or we put in their mouths. And so those changes have a big impact on them. And so consistency as much as possible is great. But when you're traveling, it definitely helps to give their GI tract a little bit of stability. And so that Platinum GI formula is really great because it adds prebiotics and probiotics, which I think most people are familiar with probiotic health. Really supports the gut microflora, the good healthy bugs in our stomach, which help with digestion, nutrient absorption, but also they play a huge role in preventing bad bacteria from growing. So probiotics really key. You want to make sure that you've got the right strains that are specific to equine health. Horses have very different needs than people. And but then the probiotics, those actually feed the prebiotics. So it's really important to do both. And then there's another ingredient called L-glutamine in this formula. And I think a lot of people are now familiar with the term leaky gut.
Yes.
And so that's actually something that we just completed a study back in 2019 with Texas A&M University, looking at the effects on NSAIDs. We know that injuries happen. Horses,
Right, right.
unfortunately, require NSAID therapy.
And just like humans, those can have negative impacts on our internal organs.
Exactly.
Which is funny, you never really think about that. Well, you just said that, and I was like, oh yeah, duh. I mean, we're supposed to kind of watch those things for our bodies. It makes perfect sense that we would also do the same for our animal friends.
Yep. It's true.
Jeez, I feel like I'm learning a lot of things. Like I'm having these knowledge bubbles pop up, like duh. So I think one of the things you mentioned, being on the road is hard. There's not very many things you can control. And there's so much going on when you're on the road. So let's talk about ease of use. What types of, I guess, how do we get this? What is it? As a powder?
Really great question.
Like, how does it come?
Okay, so excellent question. One of the things that's unique about Platinum is I did say it was founded by a veterinarian, and I think it's so important. Your veterinarian should be that kingpin in the health of your horse. Nobody knows your horse better than you and your veterinarian. And so I think it's very important to involve your veterinarian in the decision making when it comes to what your horse eats, but also, the time constraints and you, you just said, ease of use. The last thing we need is to make nutrition complicated for ourselves, our horses, or our vets. And I think that's what vets really like about Platinum. Platinum is only available direct through us or from veterinarians. So veterinarians directly recommend it. And it's very straightforward. Again, those 3 foundation formulas, your horse is going to benefit from any one of those 3. A vet will recommend either the original Platinum, the Platinum GI, or the Platinum CJ. And if that's the only thing that you do for your horse on a daily basis, it's really going to set them up for success. Even just the original foundation formula is excellent. Any rodeo horse is going to benefit from that. 2 scoops a day, very small. It's like half a cup. So it's quality, not quantity. We're not talking pounds of feed or grain. Regardless of what you're feeding, that's the other nice thing, because yes, your hay quality could change. What you're feeding could change, and it doesn't. Platinum really is going to be able to be compatible with any feeding regimen. And so you don't have to be a mad scientist scooping out of 17 buckets. There's 55 ingredients in Platinum, really looking at anti-inflammatory omega support. So it really helps set up for a less inflammatory diet. And that's a key component when you're on the road. We know that we're exposing ourselves and our horses to more oxidative stress. That's just anytime you're an athlete, you're working out, you increase your respiration and you're stepping on the gas pedal, right? Your body needs more energy. So we are under that stress. We have to mitigate that. And a really great way to do that is with anti-inflammatory omega-3 support, which Platinum definitely, cold pressed flax oil is where we get that. And then natural vitamin E. A lot of our horses on the road don't have ample, if any, time for good grazing. And we know that horses thrive on a natural grazing diet. And 2 of the reasons why is because of the omega-3 content and the natural vitamin E they get. And unfortunately, we know, regardless of what hay you're feeding or a
you're feed,
not
getting
those 2 elements in fresh cut hay, it very quickly, those 2 nutrients degrade. And so you really need to put back the nutrients in the diet. And
that's a really good point. I mean, oftentimes not only can they not graze because they just don't, I mean, they're kind of going from rodeo to rodeo, and maybe they're in a stall. Maybe, if it's like the Central Wyoming Fair, there's some parts where you can kind of pin them out. But also I would say, like, if I turned my horse out to graze, I would have to ride him 3 times a day. Like, he was such an easy keeper that really wasn't an option, because I couldn't keep up with his physical to keep him in shape. So this is a really good alternative. And I would also add that, you mentioned the 52 different, you have to be a scientist to mix all these different things. I've seen that. I've done that. I mean, I have done that.
We've all
a little bit of this for the joints, a little squirt of this, half a squirt of that. So,
how do you know they're all designed to work together?
Exactly. You don't. And that's the other good thing about Platinum. If you're getting this from your vet, then they know what you're putting your horse on. No different than what you're putting yourself on. Your doctor knows that, all those meds have to kind of work together. So super, super easy to use. So here's my other question. We're not competing anymore, but I have an older horse. Is this something that, if I'm not competing and I'm not on the road and I still want my old man to kind of get some extra help to keep him going. Is this something that we can use for those horses also?
Absolutely. I think that it is maybe a misconception, the name Platinum Performance.
Right.
This is not just for performance horses or performance athletes. Everyone's going to benefit from that daily nutritional support. And certainly we see that across the board from brood mares. We do a lot of reproductive research with the Colorado State University team just south of here. So we know that brood mares, young horses, even newborn foals, once they start nibbling next to mom, you can feed Platinum because they're going to benefit from that same nutritional foundation. And then senior horse, we think of like, what is that? It's not a number. Often people will ask, well, at what age should I start feeding a senior support or the CJ joint support? It has nothing to do with age. It really has to do with the individual animal. And so daily, just preventive wellness steps. The other great thing is as horses age, we know that things work less efficiently. There may be slightly increased propensity for colic or some other GI complications. And one thing that I am really thrilled that Platinum is able to offer, I just love that we're able to give this peace of mind, is we have the Platinum Colic Coverage Program. And so, we partner with veterinarians, and as if you're doing your annual wellness care through your vet, which we all should be, right? Yes. Your annual vaccinations, just an annual wellness exam, dental, and it does require one fecal test, which is really great to give you a baseline as far as your parasite load, especially if you're traveling and you don't know who's been in that pen. And so that's the only requirements. The foundation formulas will provide $8,000 to $10,000 worth of free colic surgery coverage.
Oh my goodness. So it's been a few years. I know about this because we had 2 of them. That covers a majority of one surgery. Right. That's amazing.
That's the goal, hopefully.
But I was paying that off long after.
Right. It's no fun.
It's a big deal.
It's no fun. And you could do everything right. We understand that. And still sand. You mentioned sand eating. Sometimes you just can't control that. And if you have a sand colic, it's unfortunate. But we want to give owners the peace of mind because we know that the Platinum Foundations do set your horse up for success. And we believe in that so much. And we have that background that we're able to offer this free colic program. And
that's great.
Makes me go down the road and sleep easier.
Yes, for sure. I feel that a lot. So thank you so much for coming on this morning. So much information. Y'all, if you're rewatching this, put your questions and comments in the comment section. I mean, I have a lot more questions and not a lot more time. So I can imagine that you guys do too. But thank you so much for coming on this morning. And welcome to the CNFR and the NRA partnership. Super excited to have this new partnership. I think it's gonna work well for both of us.
We are too. Thank you.
I say us like I am the NRA. I'm not, but I mean,
it's a big
we welcome you. Yes, exactly. All right, you guys, stay tuned. We've got Roger Walters and Jim Dewey Brown up next.
No matter what's going on outside of you, everything priority-wise comes behind what your horse needs. What matters most is what makes you get up every day, what makes you go in the barn and spend the time with the horses. It's not about the attention. It's not about the fame that may come with it if you do well. It's about loving the sport and loving the horse.
Hello, we are back. We tried to do a real quick switcheroo and be in place before we got back, but it doesn't happen, but that's all right. There we are. Yeah. So we have to get close. There's no social distancing, not in this room, not in this studio. So you guys, I'm so happy to have you guys on.
I got one in my pocket.
I don't have one.
Okay, then I'll hug you.
I don't have a mask. So for those of you guys that do not know these lovely gentlemen look, it's a Heidi sandwich. There's so many things that just came to mind that are not appropriate. So Roger Walters and Jim Dewey Brown, so much history with both of these guys. I'm going to have to get rid of the CINCH logo so it's not on your head. So, Roger, in fact, we were just talking about this, or you were talking about it. When I was in college, Roger tried to get me to come to Texas.
True.
To Huntsville, Texas. And listen, there might have been a conversation with my mom about the size of the bugs in Texas.
Yes, there was. She wasn't sure if it was the heat or the bugs, but I think it was. I can't take my little girl going that far
I think
away.
that's what it was. I think that's what it was. And I am kind of a mama's girl too. I don't know that I could have lasted that far away. I've not gone very far since then. Anyways, I mean, here I am back in Casper still. So, yeah. So Roger and I have known each other for a while. I date myself.
20 plus years.
Yes, 20 plus years, a couple of decades. That sounds also much longer than just 20 years. So I won't say it that way. But so when Roger got the commissioner position
hmm
12 years ago,
13.
13 years ago, that's when Jim Dewey and I first met because he hired Jim Dewey to be the arena director. And then I was this naive little not production person that he hired to do the opening ceremonies. And I was just talking to Holly, who does it now,
Yep.
about how much I didn't know. Like, there was a lot I didn't know. I did learn a lot. That first performance, like, I didn't know that I was supposed to call the spots. I didn't know. We talked about this with Kirsten. The first time she asked me when we were going to bug,
What time we're going to bug?
I said, when we're done, when this is done, we're going to buck. And you guys know Kirsten. She was like,
That doesn't help.
yeah. So what time? So I did learn a lot that Sunday and learned a lot about production. Not that I've helped, but I wasn't on that end. Like usually I was pushing cattle, holding the goat, like doing the other things. So it was a really good experience. I feel like every student athlete should experience that.
We have some that, no. No, we're not going to that extreme.
Yeah.
We're not.
Nobody has enough patience for that.
I don't know if you call it patience or you may call it ability.
Oh, Mom said we're too far away. Now we got to get even closer. Okay, how's that? Hopefully that sound is better. I learned this morning that the fancy mic does not work as handy as the computer mic.
Oh, well, hey,
As it turns out, I don't need all the fancy equipment.
as it turns.
The lights are helpful because then you can't see all my wrinkles. Okay, so you guys, we have kind of a big announcement. I know that the press release has been written, it's been sent out. Many of you know that this is Roger's last CNFR as the commissioner, and they started accepting applications. Don't do it. We're not getting sappy because then when I start, it's all
We're
going
fine.
downhill.
We're fine.
So they started taking applications May. Well, they had to be due by May 1st, right?
Had to be due by May 1st.
So everybody gets their applications in. We've got 20 applicants for this position, and the decision was made this week.
Absolutely.
So why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Well, the executive committee decided and went through and evaluated all of our applicants, and we had great applicants, and selected 3 to come to Casper and be part of selection by our board, and that's 11 regions, 2 representative of faculty, and a student from each one, and that's what we made the decision, and that was done on Thursday afternoon, and we selected a new commissioner. Now, are you going to say it or am I going to say
You're
it?
going to say it. I'm not
I'm
saying
going to say it. All right. You know, after 13 years of, quote, training, and I use the word training very loosely, the arena director for the College National Finals, Mr. Jim Dewey Brown, is now going to be the new commissioner of college rodeo for the next 4 years. And, you know, hopefully many years past. Yeah, you don't say anything?
I'm still speechless.
That's funny because you were speechless in the production meeting. Also, it's almost one of those things where, like, there's kind of a natural progression in college rodeo because
Right.
really you have to earn the trust of the executive committee, of the student athletes, of the kind of the whole, congregation, but the whole organization in order to be able to earn their confidence and their vote for this position. So I think that, you said it kind of jokingly, but I feel like it's really true.
There's a whole
There's
lot to
so
it.
much to learn that even though who you hire, who you chose on Thursday is going to be able to shadow with you for the next 6 months, there's so much more than that.
Yeah, the shadow part's true.
Hmm.
You look at me, he stands behind me, you can't see him. So that means I take a lot of the picture up. But the fact is, he's going to jump from behind and scare everybody how good a job he's going to do. And
I do believe that.
that's
We
what
can
I feel.
ease up on the pressure that we're putting on myself right now.
I'm not easing
No
up.
pressure, no
The
pressure.
fact
No
is,
pressure.
if I personally didn't think he had the capabilities to do what we want done and to make everything better, I wouldn't have thought, hey, he's not the guy. But the deal is, I nearly was a campaign manager, but in my position, I
Yeah,
wouldn't.
you can't really.
I wouldn't. I tried to be just neutral as I can.
Listen, the funny thing about that, I knew that he was going to apply, and I applied. I didn't. I mean, there was no secret. I did put my application in also, and I messaged Jim Dewey and I said, what was the text message? Something about, are you going to apply?
Yeah.
And he said, yeah. And I said, so does this mean I can't get a letter of recommendation? And he started laughing. I was like, well, I mean, I had to ask. And that's one of the things, like, there's so many people that are tight knit in this industry and in this organization. Like, I really had to work at finding letters of recommendation because I also reached out to Boyd, who I had worked with the openings. And he made this comment like, listen, I can't, if I write you one, then I have to write everybody one. And whoever gets this is going to be my boss. And so I can't go there because if I write one for person A and person B gets it and they know that I didn't write them one, then it puts a kink in the whole show, which I hadn't really thought of. And so that was an interesting dynamic trying to like put my packet together and come up with like my campaign team, so to speak, to get that put together. And I'm sure you probably have a lot more outside rodeo resources that you didn't really have to worry about that. But I mean, I think it's such a tight knit group that I can only imagine how difficult sorting through those applications were. I'm telling myself that, so let's go with it.
Well, the fact is, it was.
Yeah.
It definitely was. The executive committee made that decision. But we brought 3 candidates to the whole board of 22 people to make a decision on who will take college rodeo, move it forward in a way that makes college rodeo stand out.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, and I've said it to numerous groups, my social media skills, if you have a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the bottom, 10 being the best, I'm a -3. And you put him in that scenario, and I'm going to stick him up here, probably give him more credit than he's worth.
You should.
But the fact, he's going to be up there in the 7 and 8s.
Yeah.
7 and 8. So see what we've done?
Mm-hmm.
We've climbed nearly 12 places just for having a new man. And so I feel confident that that is sort of like B12. Man, I'm ready to go now.
It's like being on Platinum Performance.
Yeah. If your horse is on it, it'll go. Yeah.
Okay, so now.
No.
Yes, I feel it. I feel it too. I feel it for you. Big shoes to fill.
Oh yeah, definitely. I remember
Size.
99.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
were a contestant.
Mm-hmm.
I was a contestant, and he razzed me. I didn't know him from Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Razzed me.
He'd probably find us both
Probably.
at some point.
No, I don't think I got a phone.
Well, we were pretty straight and narrow.
Yeah.
Debatable.
But yeah, so 99 we contestants.
Mm-hmm.
He was. I always looked up to him.
And he was the arena
director.
director.
He was the arena
before
director.
moving up to the commissioner. So I hate to ask this question because I do feel like you're already gonna, and we're our own worst critic. We're hardest on ourselves. We have so high of expectations for ourselves anyways. But like, what do you do first?
Breathe.
After that.
I think my first step was going to go to Walla Walla, see
Mhm.
the girls in action on spring or fall rush and see
Yes.
how that goes. That's something I've always threatened them that I was going to do.
Yeah.
Even when I was coaching, that I really wanted to be up there and see how that goes.
So you're gonna have to talk loud. I know you don't have a problem with that. So, Sarah and Claudia and I had talked earlier about the fall rush because I'd asked them like, what happens now? Do you guys like? Do you get the summer off? Do you get to take a break? So it does change a little bit, but really y'all start taking applications in July.
Well,
So-
we do that and send in transcripts
Yes.
right now
Yeah.
to be ready to be eligible for the fall.
So they're really, yes, there is a slowdown, but it's different. It's different. It's still busy. It's just different from what we've been doing up to this point. So I guess I don't want to say that you're taking over in a tumultuous time, but after last year, let's be honest.
Hey, that's the reason we're doing it this way.
That's funny. After last year, I mean, the NIRA and the college finals took a hit. There's no way around it. And I think everybody did. So we're not alone. Rodeo took a hit. And so what are some things like, what do you do to gain that momentum back and make sure that the national sponsors that we do have, Darcy's still standing here watching, like make sure the national sponsors that we do have are getting the benefit that they normally would be getting. Like, what do we do to keep it strong and keep that momentum going or get it back?
I think you're seeing it already. People are ready to go and do something.
Yes.
And we need to put out a product that's great for our sponsors, great for the community, wherever it's at. And as long as we do that, we're honoring our agreements and our commitment to rodeo and
Perfect.
our sponsors.
Yeah. So I know that you guys talk about at this board meetings, you guys talk about rule changes, you talk about I don't know, the things. That's what I know the most, but what are some other kind of behind the scenes things that you can share? I know some of it you can't share. That's fine. But what can you guys talk about that we can expect to change or stay consistent moving forward?
I'm the old guy. He's got the new ideas. I'm right here.
Your turn.
So I do have ideas, and I think there's some things that we could do with technology, like you're doing here. The board makes the decisions on policy, so that'll be up to them. But I can throw my 2 cents in.
Yeah.
And I'll get a couple pennies from him.
A couple pennies.
Every now and then.
That's debatable.
Okay, so you guys, I need some stories. I do remember, when Brian was on the air at 10:30, and the little studio was right there by the river. And I remember, was it you and John would walk, right?
Claudia and I would walk.
Okay.
Did you see John Smith? He can't walk. Bless his heart. He doesn't ride a scooter, but he walks. Takes him 3 weeks to get out of sight. That's how fast he is.
Thank you for the feedback, Donna. That's what I told him. He needs to project. So, one of the things I feel like one of the best things about the college finals, well, I mean, it's in my hometown, so there's that. I love that. But also that it's been here for so long. When you guys come to town, I don't know, it's probably like coming to your second home because there's so many connections and so many relationships built that, I look forward to seeing you guys. I try to get with Roger for lunch every time he comes, which it gets harder and harder because you're so busy. Just know, like, I'm gonna text you and be like, when you coming? Let's hook up. When you coming? So, but those are the relationships and the stories. You guys have been going on a fishing trip every year up north to Casey before y'all come in when, like, the Wednesday. Well, he comes in the Wednesday, 2 Wednesdays before the start of the college finals. You had been coming in.
I was coming in on Wednesday as well.
So
this year flew in on Saturday.
Yeah.
So, but we made it, and we caught.
And you got to go to the fishing trip.
We did.
So annual fishing trips.
Mine's bigger than fishing store.
Yes. Like.
No.
It's not that.
No.
It's
got to be.
It's
Yeah, it's got to be realistic.
No, let's be realistic. no, no.
But those are the bonds and the things that are happening behind the scenes that nobody ever gets a chance to see. I did take some pictures and post about the barbecue, the annual barbecue that Craig Scogan puts on. That's during the week of setup. So even prior to that, you guys go on this fishing trip up north into KC, to Dick Wheeler's, correct?
Absolutely.
So the connection with that is Dick was the local chairman, the chairman of the local committee,
Absolutely.
many years ago.
He was. He wasn't the first, but he came along in, I'm thinking, 2003 or 4,
Yeah.
and did us. You can't find a better person to do. And hey, all he could do is, hey, you're doing a good job doing it.
Yep,
He
yep.
never told us we was doing bad. We'd look on our little list and we were doing bad. So, no, he did that, and we were very lucky to go up there. And he's such a great host, and he even furnishes it. He doesn't furnish the fish on the rod, but he gives us a rod and the reel and a place to put the bait. And so this year was, I don't know, they didn't take my bait too good, or his either, I don't think. But I did catch one. Yeah, but I have been known to catch a lot there.
So, what else are some things that you guys have done every year that maybe everybody doesn't know about?
Harass JD.
Oh, yes.
Each other.
Yeah.
And the fact is that if we don't make this enjoyable, and as you've mentioned, all a part of it's like a family.
Mm-hmm.
Now, everybody has, I don't like you to tell you, I don't want to do it. But,
just like a family.
That's it, a family. But the fact is, we are a family. And after a while, I can pretty much think what he's going to take place. He can something take place, and he knows what my thoughts are on that particular situation.
Yes.
And that makes a ton of difference in all those things. But we do harass each other. But I mean, we're close. We're close. And we talk. It's not here that we see each other. We may not see, but we will converse many times
Throughout
in a
the
month.
year.
So those things. And you have the camaraderie of knowing him. I know who he is. I know his family. I know all about it. So those things. Bless your little heart. That's what makes college rodeo what it is. This location, this state, this county, this city is he's going to find out you're going to spend close to nearly 2 months of your life every year right here. And you're going to see people, and you're going to know what they're going to do. And these people just open arms, come, and just friendly and nice. And our students, the location has totally changed. Most of our students know what the CNFR is. Mm-hmm. But if you really want to get their attention, you say, you going to CNFR? Well, yeah. You want to go to Casper? I want to go to Casper. I want to go to Casper.
Yeah.
So that's what it's branded. And so everybody likes it. There's so many things to do. And, most of our students are only here 4 years at the most.
Right.
So, then we have a new group, and they got to see something else new. So, it's great. The people are great. But everybody works with all that committee here in town, our volunteer coaches that do all the work, and they know their job in and out. And so they know what it takes. And you hear that? That's somebody wanting me, but I'm not going to answer.
Somebody's looking for you.
I'm not even going to answer. It'll go off in a minute.
Yeah, somebody's looking for you. That's normal, I think.
It is.
So, Jim Dewey, you're being real vague.
I'm still freaking out a little bit.
I don't blame you. Yeah, I don't blame you.
But everything Roger said it's Casper, and the town, the county, the state. Mm-hmm. They're so welcoming, and we weren't here last year,
but you can't tell.
I flew in Saturday, and it was like I saw you last week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the week before.
Right.
I was here last week.
That's true. So I'm really wanting to pressure you because honestly, change is one of those things that everybody knows it's inevitable. And I would say that people, they just really don't like change. But then you have those people that change, like their routines. They fire up their routines every 2 weeks because they need that change to keep it fresh. So I want to know, clearly, I don't think if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I know the people that are watching know that there's some things that don't need touched. Roger already talked about some things that we can work on. Social media plays a much bigger role now. And I think we see that this week with the partnership streaming, got to use the right terminology here, streaming the evening performances every night now, and not just, what did we do, Wednesday through Saturday before?
Wednesday through Saturday.
I mean, we only added one night, but let me tell you why Tuesday is so hard to stream. We've already talked about this. Tuesday's hard to stream because it's the first evening performance. With a year off, people may forget. Get your elbows off of the yellow wall. There's speakers everywhere. There's microphones everywhere. Like, we forget some of these little things. And to pull the trigger and go live on that first night.
Tuesday is
Yeah.
It's the worst day for
live
us for
Yeah.
production because it's so long. We have slack all day.
Yeah. People are tired.
Yeah, we are dragging butt, and
yeah,
it's tough.
And I would say Tuesday this year, to go live on Tuesday, went well.
It went very well.
I think it just goes back to, well, one, you have a great group of production staff. They all know their jobs. They do their jobs. And just like Jeff Collins talked about in that meeting, if you're doing your job well, it's super hard to replace you. You're probably going to be in that spot for a while. And, well, I mean, it's true. But because I feel like it's that same drive that's bringing, putting butts in the seats. Like, people want to do things. We're really excited to be here. I feel like it's that same kind of background. Like, people are excited to be here again. They're doing their jobs. They're doing them well. And that allows us to go live on Tuesday with no concerns.
Well, like when we talk about the crew, I started putting this crew together 13 years ago, and that it was challenging at the start. I'm not gonna lie, it was a challenge. But,
well, you got to find the right people.
Yeah, and putting the team together, and like I said, I have a great team, and like I said, we missed last year. Couldn't even tell. Same group. We had even some new coaches come in, and they picked right up where they needed to be. So
very cool. Well, so we do expect to see some new things on social media now. Plug. But other things. I mean, I know that we can always use more sponsors. We can always use more scholarship money for the kiddos to keep going. Kiddos. Whoops, mom speak. The student athletes to keep going and continue their education. There's so much more that we can bring to the table. And I say we because Bullfrog Creatives is kind of dedicated to promoting college rodeo. And I feel like that's also my job. Not quite as illustrious as yours, but I'm gonna keep on going. So we got that. So I don't know. There's so many different things and different avenues that you can go now. Different partnerships. Come on, throw me a bone.
The passion that you bring for college rodeo, that's what I want to see everywhere
across the board.
I want to see get that team together, and it's coaches, it's ex students, Yeah, we're there.
I know.
We want to bring that passion and make it grow and make it successful. Continue the success.
Well, and I would say, Roger, I mean, I don't think you lacked social media, because I did notice in the last year that each region has now developed like their own Facebook page. So they're creating this following, and it's really funny. The Great Plains regions, they have loose horses a lot at their rodeo.
They do.
And I think, and they posted them on Facebook. So every time this horse was found in whatever, North 40, he's tied to this trailer, posted on their Facebook group. And it made me laugh, because then I got to thinking, did we have that many loose horses? And we just didn't know it because we didn't have social media?
Oh, yeah. I can't tell the story, but those who know Window Rock goats. That's we don't go to that story. We
feel like we
have to go to that story.
Have to go to that story now.
and even went to McDonald's drive through parking lot.
Don't even go down there now.
That one was a good one. It was there was a horse.
Don't
There
go
was a
there.
horse in the drive-thru.
I understand.
So we all know social media it's a good and a bad, but those regional directors, I assume it's the regional directors that put those.
Sometimes it's just a student in the region.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
But it's a great way to communicate what's going on in your region. So, and I noticed that a lot of them started locking down to private groups so that there wasn't so many. Probably also a good idea, but that way they can communicate. They can communicate, draw, and we're seeing that across. Somebody knows about that story.
Chelsea Demont.
Oh, she knows about the story. Yes, she does.
That's
Very,
funny.
very much so.
So it's a great way for them to see that. We're seeing the position drop posted for high school rodeos. We're seeing who's going to be the goat director this weekend. Like, there's just so many more things that we can do,
Right.
Even on the production side of it, to keep things rolling smoothly. So I'm excited to see where these things go. We've talked about, oh my gosh, listen, you guys don't understand. We have 413 contestants. That's how many bios I sorted through. I got a packet from Sarah this thick, 3-day FedEx that I had to sort through. We're going to try to streamline some of those processes. Look at Roger's laughing. I know why he's laughing, because it's like herding
It's
cats
change.
sometimes.
Change.
Yeah, now it's his job. That's why he's laughing. So hopefully we'll see more streamlined processes. It's hard. Change is hard, but we're super excited to have Jim Dewey at the helm now and to keep on rolling with the traditional and also bring in some new things. So don't be too nervous. You guys have any other stories to tell?
Honor the past, embrace the future.
There you go. Honor the past, embrace the future. All right. You guys have any more stories to tell?
Life's wonderful.
Life is wonderful.
Yeah, just remember.
What are you going to do?
Whatever my wife tells me.
I knew that was coming.
The fact is, just remember this one thing. This is the best day you're going to have today.
I was wondering when that was going to come.
I mean, it is. It's the only
I
one
really
you're
want to
gonna-
use that. I need to remember it.
It's the only one you're going to have.
I'll remind you.
It's the only one. So it's good, bad, or indifferent. It's the best day you're going to have today. So use it to the fullest.
So I'm serious about, like, what are you going to do?
Whatever my wife tells me.
That's it?
Look,
What about what you want to do?
whatever my wife tells me. I've been married
Is this
40
how long it takes
Well, it
to
may-
get this response?
Well, it may be. But the fact is, after 44 years of marriage, bless the little girl's heart, she put up with me that long. And I'm glad she's not on social media watching this right now, because it'd be bad on me. But the fact is, that's what I'm going to do. That's it. But the great thing is, it is the best day you're going to have. And so you look forward, good or bad, because we all know we're going to have bad days. But it's the only day you're going to have that day. And it's the only thing you're guaranteed to have. So do the most you can with it. Be positive and go about it. Do not smile. That's bad. No, you better smile every trip. That's the deal. Because if you frown, just think about it. There's research that says less energy, less muscles to and it is frown. And don't be so. Anyhow, just remember, it's the best day you have today.
There you go. Famous last words. It's not going to be the last.
No. He thinks he's getting out. He's not getting out.
Listen, even John Smith came back to see us.
Bless his heart.
You coming back next year?
He'll be back.
Hey, that's a year from now. I don't know what's going to happen 2 days from now, but not a year. We do.
Dirt's coming out.
Well, that's true. That is true. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome, kiddo.
I'm not going to cry, but I'm going to say some stuff.
Here, that's what I got to do. We've been doing this for years. So
We have.
Social distancing, we're not making.
Nope. Thank you. Listen, there is something I want to say. When Roger made the decision to hire me as the openings production manager, he took a pretty big chance, because I will be the first to know that I had no experience, but he saw something in me that I didn't see. And I will say that I am not the only person that he has done that with.
Coach.
Yes.
He sees stuff in people.
I
I'm
talked
in the same
to
boat. you are.
numerous people that he had confidence in them before they had the confidence in themselves. And that's what being in college rodeo is all about. And so from myself and from Jim Dewey and from the many student athletes that you have touched, we appreciate that because there aren't a lot of people in the world that are building those people up. So we thank you so much. And on that note, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in this week. I have had tons of fun. I have put so many miles on my shoes. My feet hurt, my back hurts. But I certainly hope that you guys have enjoyed all the behind the scenes stuff. For those of you guys that are watching on the official CNFR Facebook page, please go check out Bullfrog Creatives. There's tons of live videos that we have gotten behind the scenes, places that I am so lucky to have access to that your standard media people will not have access to. I did film the Regents coming in last night. I am not doing that again because I feel like I almost died. They were coming in so fast.
They come in hot.
But check it out, Bullfrog Creatives. And hopefully we will be able to come back and bring you more CNFR mornings next year. And you guys have a wonderful year. It is Saturday. Happy Saturday, you guys. And if you are in Casper, get your tickets and get out here to the championship round tonight. See you guys.